Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. We should be starting soon.
Good evening, everyone. It's Sharifa.
Good evening, Sharifa.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. We should be starting soon.
Hi, everyone. Sorry to be late. And
Good
sorry
evening.
to keep you waiting.
No problem. Thank you.
Um, 1 second. Let me just walk in. Okay, do we have quorum, Christina? I don't know who's here.
Yes.
Yeah, we do? Okay, great. Okay, so let's get started. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience this afternoon. And
Just gotta,
I'm sorry, did
Someone
someone
needs to come.
say?
I'm sorry.
Sharika.
Yep,
No
I'm gonna
problem.
mute right now.
Oh, okay. All right, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's board meeting, Thursday, March 21st, 2024. This public meeting for Hope Community Public Charter School Board is now called to order. We will now call the roll to determine if we have quorum. Anissa Bailey.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Anissa. Sharifat Balagon.
Here,
Thank you. Allison Barr.
I'm here.
Hey, Allison. I'm Eric Johnson. Oh, I'm here. Okay, Lorraine Oyetobo.
here,
Okay, and I'm here. A quorum has been determined, and we will now proceed with the business portion of the meeting. We have an agenda to review, and I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
This is Anissa. I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Anissa. May I have someone second the motion?
This is Allison. I'll second.
Thank you, Allison. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Nope, the agenda is approved. And board members, we also have the meetings, the board minutes to review from our last meeting. Are there any corrections? I don't have any. No. May I have a motion to?
Just FYI, Allison did have earlier, so in your copy, it may not have the adjournment who second the motion, but I did add it. So Allison brought that to my attention, just FYI.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Where was I? I have a motion to approve the minutes from our, what date was that? Our February meeting?
This is
Motion to
Anissa.
approve. Oh, go ahead, Anissa.
Oh, I was just gonna say the same. This is Anissa. I move to approve the minutes from the February meeting.
Okay, thank you, Anissa. May I have a second? Someone to second the motion.
Second.
Oh, hi, Eric. Thank you.
Hey.
And Eric is here. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays or abstentions? No. Okay, the minutes are approved and they will be online. These minutes will be approved in the April board meeting, and the recording of this meeting will be available 24 to 48 hours, and these actions are based on the Open Meetings Act. So today we will hear updates from PLA and Hope on the progress of the schools. So CMO principals report is up first.
Mr. Owens, this will be you.
Okay, I thought I was talking, but I forgot I was muted. Good afternoon, everyone. So our enrollment is now currently at 245 scholars. Our average daily attendance is 200, and we're trying to make every effort to increase our daily attendance. So what we're doing is we're calling parents, we're having attendance letters sent out, attendance meetings, as well as we are having celebrations for attendance as well. Our partnerships, we are partnering with a tutoring cafe for an after-school tutorial program in hopes to increase our DC Cape and MWE scores. So that tutoring will start this Monday, and the hours are from 3 to 5:30, and they're gonna provide homework assistance along with they're doing STEM, not STEAM. And so basically, at the time I wrote this, I said we plan to get the program started in 2 weeks, but actually the program is going to start Monday. So I'm very happy about that. We just completed our month-long Black History celebration. And we closed out with performances last week. Upcoming events were our Parent Teacher Conference, which will be conducted on tomorrow from 12 to 6. And we also have our father-daughter dance on the 12th. And the hours are from 5 to 8. And we have some other celebrations in the upcoming week, as well as on the 27th next week. We're having an organization coming donate some dictionaries to our third graders. So you might want to come out and support the father-daughter dance on the 12th. You're welcome to. And we're also and trying to increase our parents to get in the parent portal. We're gonna have some on tomorrow. We're gonna have some laptops out to be able to assist our parents into getting into the portal, because it's very much needed as far as getting information, as well as registering their scholars for the upcoming year. And we're doing one thing we're doing now is we're taking in scholars this year. At the end of the school year, we're taking them now for this school year, so they're waiting for next school year. That's one way to increase our enrollment. And it's also a way to, they don't have to be in the lottery. We can just take them in. We have to wait for my school DC. We can go ahead and enroll them. So we've been pretty successful selling that pitch.
So Dr. Owens, you said that you have 245 scholars?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did we get to that number? I'm just curious.
We got to that number of Mr. Tyler's been canvassing, calling, everybody's been pitching in calling parents. And what we did was parents that showed interest in enrolling their kids, we kind of reached out to them and said, would you like to enroll them right now versus waiting until the next school year? And the sales pitch was basically, if we enroll them now and take them in now, that gets them out of waiting for the lottery.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, and these are kids coming to what grades in particular? Is it just like,
Pre-K, 7th, 5th, 3rd.
Okay, all right, that's a big jump from where we were originally. That's a good thing. 245 is a good thing.
I feel great about it. I mean, it's a lot better than where we were last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, all right.
And the mindset is we get them in now and then get them into some advantage we have them, we can keep them. But they get used to school, the way things are going. They'll get to see some of the teachers, get used to the teachers. So get them acclimated to the school earlier than waiting to August, September timeframe.
Right. And the tutoring, do you have like good numbers signed up for that, or is it
We have 32, but they just want to start with the middle school first, and then we have another 14 in second grade. So we're gonna see how that works, because we're partnership with Tutoring Cafe, and I think they only have 2 tutors as of right now. So we're gonna see how that goes. But I really like to get as much as possible in.
And they're around for the rest of the school year, or how is that?
They're into the end of the school year, correct?
Okay.
And it's a 2-year partnership, so we can have them again for next year.
Okay. Okay, I mean, that's also a great selling point to parents too, right? That there's something at the school for tutoring. That's a good sell. All right.
Dr. Owens, where did the students come from? Are these kids from the neighborhood?
No, some of them came from, we have some that's coming out of the shelter that just came in the country. And then we have some, in the neighborhood that's come from different schools. And some of them coming from Ward, 7 and 6.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, Dr. Owens, I'll be at the father-daughter dance of one of my daughters. I got a bunch of them, so we'll see which one can make it.
Yeah, and if there are any other activities, it's good if we could just get a list so that we can, float it around with the board members and see if, who can make it to some of the activities. But we just need some notice on them now, so.
Yeah, we got some celebrations coming up to it and award ceremonies coming up. So I'll send that out to you, tomorrow.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you. Anything else for Dr. Owens? No? Okay, let's keep it moving. Who's next on the agenda?
I believe it's the academic report.
Okay, and that's you, Melissa?
Yes, hello, everybody. As requested the last time, we don't have any fresh data necessarily, but I know we talked about specifically wanting to have some disaggregated data to look at for NWA from the middle of the year. We are right in the middle of testing season right now, so we'll have some fresh data here coming at the end of the year as well, but I wanted to make sure that we were able to share this data with you. As you look at the top chart here, we do have students listed as our EL students and that and our non-EL students, and comparing them last year to this year. So that darker blue on the left, so if you look at the 18.2%, that's our EL students from the previous year. Or I'm sorry, not previous year, from the fall, my goodness, I'm so sorry, to the winter. So you can see that we did have a pretty steep increase, about 6 percentage points from fall to winter for our EL students. We also had an increase from fall to winter, looking at our ELA, from 24 to 26.7, so about 2.5 percentage points there. For math, we did have a slight drop in EL, which is kind of, as we talk about, one of the things that we did talk about before is with that EL component, if a student's first year to the country was this year, they did not take that EL test, right? So the group that you're looking at for ELA is students that have been here in the country longer than a year. So to see that nice increase, we're really probably not surprised. When we look at the EL piece in math, we know students that have been here longer than a year, all students, regardless of how long they've been here, have taken the math assessment. So we do see a slight drop. We do know that the concepts have gotten more difficult, and we also know that our students that have been here for a short amount of time have had some inconsistent education. They've had broken spots, broken times. So we're not surprised, but I will say I know the team is working hard, and we have a couple of math interventionists that have really been trying to drill down and support the kids, and we have seen some growth, especially in our middle school. For our non-EL students, we did see a steep increase of about 9% from fall to winter for our students who were not EL in the school. We also had a breakdown for race and ethnicity. So as you can see here, here's the overall breakdown for our school. I did reach out to Max just to talk about, we have a couple of students that have unknowns. So just trying to get kind of make sure that we have everything listed in our SIS system correctly and that we have all the accurate data that we need. We do have one student that's labeled as American Indian. That student, you can see there's 100% in our math that was passed, and then, they did not meet that grade level RIT score for ELA. We have our African American. Oh, sorry. Did you have a question? Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. We had, looking at our African American population, we did have an increase from fall to winter of about 4 percentage points in our ELA, and we also had an increase of about 7 percentage points in math. And then for our Hispanic Latino population, we had about just over a 1% increase in ELA, and then we had about a 3% increase in math. The next piece up, we'll have Mrs. Hopkins. Let's see, Mrs. Hopkins, are you there? Because I believe the next thing up that we have is talking about intervention and updates.
All right. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So intervention is in full swing. All of our interventionists are pulling groups, seeing groups, aligned to the PLA framework for the curriculum that we should be using. In addition, our interventionists are partnering with teachers, participating in PLCs. So they are working in tandem as we literally get closer to that CAPE, and they're working on the extra initiatives outside of what's happening in intervention to partner with teachers. They're aware of our goals, our target students. And so we really do have a strong connection between what's happening in intervention, what's happening in the classroom as far as preparing our students for the DC CAPE, and making sure that there's crossover and connection between teacher and interventionist. So we have interventionists working with teachers to pull additional groups to work after school and to work at like additional periods in the day, such as lunch and recess, to pull groups to be probing and pushing those groups who are on our watch list, or those students who we identified who can demonstrate proficiency. We want to make sure that they are continuing to stay proficient, and those students who are close to meeting proficiency, to also give them that push. So we have a lot of great things in the works as far as intervention and the connection between intervention and the primary teachers. Do we have any questions that I could specifically dive into? That, please.
Hey,
No, don't do that.
say if there's no other questions.
I'm sorry, the CAPE starts after spring break? Or-
The science portion is right before, and
okay.
then after we come back, maybe 3 to 4 weeks after, we're pushing to the end of the window. So that gives us as much time as possible.
Just in case people miss dates or anything like that, they can do makeups.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I know the data for the CAPE doesn't come back for the fall typically. What
Mhm.
about the other assessments? Do they come back in the fall or come back before the end of the school year?
So we will get our NWEA, we will get our NWEA scores back within a week or days. We are using iReady, so that is another indicator for, really we're using that for special populations. So iReady data, our NWEA data will be more instant, and those will be the closest things that we can have as predictors for how students are likely to perform. But yes, DC CAPE is not going to come back until August. That's usually the time.
Okay.
I'll add to that as well. We also have other common formative assessments that are ongoing all the time. So we have M-Class that we utilize every 10 days. We do a progress monitoring. And then we also have just our common form of assessment through your Eureka Math, which is really driven by standards, right? So we're looking at the standards we taught, did the students master, and then being responsive to that. And then we do our close reading as well, assessments that are actually, I think we're just wrapping up at the end of the year because we only do that for a certain period of time. And now we're at the 25th lesson. So I think we are just about to wrap up there, but that'll be wrapped. That's another data point that we use just to make sure that we're, providing what we need to provide and being responsive to the data that we find from those assessments that are ongoing all the time. And I believe that's the end of our report, unless there's any other questions.
I have a quick question, just thinking about data and the tutoring program that Dr. Owens mentioned. Are we doing any sort of looking at the scholars that are taking advantage of some of those things, even the summer advantage, and where and how that's impacting growth on NWEA, since I know we don't get CAPE back until kind of right before school starts? Just curious if we're trying to sort of pay attention to that.
Yeah, we look at the data to identify the kids that really need the tutoring, and then once we're going to go through the tutoring program, we're going to do an assessment and see what kind of growth they have made. So that is the plan.
Great.
Yeah, so Dr. Allison sort of preempted the question I was going to ask you. So you mentioned that you're going to assess you mentioned you're going to assess the students, but how is that going to happen?
Well,
Like
first of all,
what
we looked at
assessment? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
we looked at the our NWE scores and our M-class scores, and we identified kids that where they are as far as even the CFAs. We took that data to identify which kids that we were going to target. And then we contacted the parents and talked to parents and to us, have to be parent agreement as well. And then once we got a list of them kids, we sent out information to them. They fill the application to go through the application process. And then once we finish we're gonna be assessing all the way through. And then once we complete the program, we're gonna look at the data and see that's the garnish of how successful our program was. And it's our program success is gonna be how well our students weighted score, and if we close the gap, the learning gap, and then once we do that, then we'll do the same thing when we have our summer advantage to be to gauge our success and see where we are. So basically, from the tutoring program, that's going to be an indication of what we need to do, if what we need to focus on ourselves as adults in the building, what we need to do so our kids can grow better. So we assess that program by where our kids' performance and see what we need to do. So now we're just not only assessing the kids, we're also doing self-assessment, self-evaluation of ourselves as well.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
I was just going to share too I know he's talking about tutoring, but you also kind of asked about the summer advantage piece. We do a crosswalk data piece, right, from our NWA. So we look to see at the beginning of the year where that crosswalk to say, okay, these kids that came in, our goal is at the minimum, no summer slide, right? It's pretty common in the fall that kids will come in and they'll have slid back. So our goal with summer advantage is at the minimum, no summer slide, if not even some is what we look for. So we do a crosswalk piece too with those students that attended summer advantage.
Yep.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Thanks, Melissa. And thank you, Ms. Hopkins, for presenting on that. See who's next. Who's next? Enrollment updates, Mr. Tolliver.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So I'll just sort of kind of jump in from where Dr. Owens left off at. Right now, the PTG is at 245. The goal is to continue to enroll students. So what we're doing right now is making sure that we make connections with our families as well as being engaged in the community. So a lot of grassroots is taking place right now. One thing I want to say is that if you look at the chart, that is a depiction of, I would say, Washington, D.C. as far as some of the wards. If you notice where there is 48%, where the chart is, that's our ward, which is Ward 5. 6%, that would be Ward 4. Where you see 21%, that would be Ward 7. And 1%, that would be Ward 6. The reason why I share that with everyone is because it shows in reference to where our recruitment and reference to where our students are coming from right now. Of course, I have continued to engage in meeting people in communities within, let's say, wards 5 through 8. However, we do have some students that come from other wards as well. So I wanted to show that as a depiction, but if you look to your left as well, you'll notice that some of our top 5 competitors are right in our community as well. So we have DC Prep, Langdon Elementary School, Lee Montessori, as well as the others. However, they are our competitors. However, we have other schools who are around our community as well. So the goal right now is to continue to recruit. But with doing that also, we will continue to have, or I will continue to have meetings with the National Student Director of Enrollment, which is Ms. Walter, as well as Dr. Owens, in which I make contact with daily to reach those goals. So at the bottom, there are some things that I continue to do, or that the school engagement works around to help support with the recruitment. So For an example, I'll highlight we have clothing for families. We do morning coffee talks. We have the father-daughter dance, which Dr. Owens spoke about. But also we'll have a summer carnival like we had last year, and there's some other initiatives. But all this is to make sure that we recruit, but also retention as well. And that's all I have.
Are you seeing any more engagement from parents?
Good question. Absolutely. So just yesterday, we had our parent teacher organization with the scheduling between myself as well as the parents. They were able to come inside of the school building, and they were able to just support us with the food pantry, but also not support, but also with making sure that our area, as far as in the food pantry, was clean, but then also connecting with other parents. So through that, that's face to face, but also virtually, we have parents that are engaged in the open house sessions as well. So we'll continue to move forward. The goal is to make sure we increase family engagement, but also making sure that we support our scholars in reference to education as well.
Okay, and then the My School DC lottery results, I think that's next Friday, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, so for us, it's on every day we're recruiting, but in reference to families being able to transition over in the system, that is correct, next Friday. However, like Dr. Owens repeated, we continue to recruit, but just making sure that we let families know that we are we have an open door policy and we're always recruiting. So just making sure that those families get in place and get prepared for the next school year. But yes, the enrollment for the 24-25 school year will be on the 1st.
And how are we reaching out to people who get accepted? Is that going to be pretty kind of aggressive approach to making sure we contact those parents, or what's the plan for those people in that pipeline?
Absolutely. Good question. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm glad you asked that question. So yes, there are a couple of things that helps to groom our families to actually join us in reference to enrollment. So sometimes it starts with My Schools DC, and sometimes it does not. For an example, with me being able to engage with the community, sometimes it can come from meetings, which is sometimes connecting by sharing flyers or sharing my business card, or being able to tell parents about the school. But also, the pipeline also involves the open house sessions. It also involves parents being able to understand that our school is one of the only STEAM schools in Ward 5. And also, I think Dr. Owens, he also has mentioned that we're looking forward to building this STEAM program after school. So those things become important to families, but it's also making sure that our families who are interested in coming to our school, they also get the experience, not just virtually, but they have the opportunity to join us in reference to coming in, speaking with teachers, understanding the vision of the school, meeting with the leaders, and then following up with telephone calls, emails, and inviting the families as well to our carnival or activities at the school. So that's something that will come up in the future in reference to inviting those families to one of our events before the end of the school year.
Yes, and so what we did, once we saw the list, we formulated a team, myself, Mr. Tolson, Mr. Wapa, Mr. Ray, Miss Nolasco, and Miss Ramirez. We ended up we took a list. I start from the top, and we contacted each one 104 families. We contacted 104 families on that list to talk about our school and sell our school and tell the great things about our school. So we contacted everybody on the list before they closed it.
Okay. All right.
So quick question, just as a FYI. So all of the events that I see here, like the father-daughter dance, PTO meetings, the food pantry, are those things calendared already? Do we know when, the morning coffee talks, do we know when those things are going to happen, or is this a report of the things that have happened and not necessarily a report of things that do happen.
So, oh, go ahead. Yeah, so it's both. So these are things that we had planned over the summer, going into the 23-24 school year. They are already on our master calendar. So some of them have already taken place. So these are rolling events. The only one that I will say that we have not done will be the father-daughter dance, which is coming up. But the rest of the activities take place throughout the summer carnival, which we had in 2023. But those are rolling events. We always have them every month.
Oh, these happen every month. Okay. Because
Yes,
I guess
sir.
the reason I'm asking is because I want to try to attend some of them. I travel a lot, so I would need a calendar so I can put it on my calendar to be able to do it. But I want to be as supportive as possible, particularly with our parents. I want to, have some opportunity to share space with some of our parents, to ask, to sort of connect with them, and so that I personally can be a better resource to you about how I think we could better connect with parents. So I want to try to make some. I won't claim I'm gonna make a bunch of them, but when I can, I want to, just to have some sense of what our parents think and how they approach the issue of education with the
Can I
kids.
jump in here?
Sure.
We can actually send you a link because this is all on our Google Calendar. We can send you a link to our Hope event calendar, so then you can actually see the events all the time. You'd be able to see everything. I can drop that in the chat if that's helpful, or if you'd rather it sent another way. The chat is fine. Okay, I'm doing that now.
If you can email it so that all the board members can have access to it, that will be helpful, because I'm gonna forget to.
Got it. No problem.
Like,
So, Ms. Hopkins, are you going to email it? You going to put it in the chat and you're going to email it?
Yep, I can do both. I'll do it right now.
All right. All right. Thanks.
That's it. So there's nothing. The agenda seems pretty light.
Chairwoman, you watch your mouth there, ma'am.
No financial update. I don't think Eva's on the call. Only thing I can share there is that they're working on the budget, and that'll get presented, I think, in May, probably. Allison, is that right? Is it May?
I believe April.
April? Oh,
Let me confirm that. I might have the wrong month in my head. Let's see what Dan said.
Yep.
April, yeah, okay.
I'm here in the background. Yes, we are actually have Dan and I have probably been through 3 rounds on the budget. We're down to a small number of accounts that we're still working through. So yes, April Finance Committee meeting for the first preview, and then April board meeting.
April board meeting. Okay, but it was May. Okay, cool. All right, thanks for that, Eva.
Sure.
We're ahead of schedule, I guess, Carrie.
Yeah, I guess so. Anything on operations to discuss this board meeting? It's not Javi on the call. And I think Paul is also on. Is there anything to update the rest of the board members on?
No, ma'am, not at this time. We're just working through, just like we had talked about at the last facility meeting, some of those ESSER grant funds, ensuring that we have quotes and spend downs and things ready to roll for them. So nothing to report at this point in time, but I'll make sure I bring it to the facility committee to touch point first before we come to the full board.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, we have any committee updates, anything academic committee, anything that we didn't cover with the data that was presented? And Melissa, and Dr. Owens, in terms of the academic resources that we have, we're not planning to switch. I guess I'm not sure. I can't think of any top of my head right now. The brands that we're using, are we going to stick with them, or are we thinking about making any changes, or What's the
No
plan?
new
School
program,
year?
no new curriculum. We're gonna use the same curriculum. We're gonna use the same platforms for the upcoming school year.
There might be some things that come across for replenishment, right? For like consumables and things of that
Right.
nature. There shouldn't be any major, nothing new. We just got to keep getting better and better at what we do.
Okay. And last year, I know there was for this the science class, they participated in a STEM program. They were working with a school that was in Africa, I think. Is there anything going on in that space that we should be aware of or know what's going on? Anything new and exciting on the STEAM side, on the STEM side in particular?
What was it? You got they want to do a STEAM carnival. So we're in the process of that and scheduling that. Now we just got to find out how we can get funding for that. But that is the upcoming thing we have in the STEAM carnival to showcase all the things we have, and we want a partnership with someone else, as well as we've myself and Mr. Tarver has been in contact with the ANC and certain folks in Ward 5. We're still hasn't ironed out all the perks yet, but we want to have after school programming that's going to continue through the summer for us a STEAM program as well.
Okay. All right, I think that's it for committee updates. And the only new business item is the board meeting calendar for next school year. I think that's a pretty easy thing to vote on. It's third Thursday of every month. All right. Does anyone have any board members in particular? Do anyone have any objections to the calendar? Is something you guys want to think about before we? No?
Can you remember what the star is on May 15th?
I think it says that's the
Okay, got it.
budget. Yeah, who's that coming year's budget? Christina, just note that I guess depending on Eva and Dan, that they may want to change that to April, I guess. It depends on how things are going next year. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments about the schedule? No? Okay, great. So I just need to make a motion to approve the board meeting calendar for the FY 24-25 school year. They have someone make a motion.
Motion to approve the 2024-25 school year calendar.
You, Allison, may I have someone second the motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Anissa. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Nope, the calendar for next school year is approved. So hold up, calendar, okay. So now I'd like to open the floor for any for public comments. Feel free to offer anything that's substantive that supports the agenda items, and it's for 3 minutes only. If anyone on the call who's not from PLA or board member, welcome to make a comment about the school, anything we discussed today.
I'll make a quick comment just as a board member and a parent. My son actually is one, he gets pulled out for the interventions and he actually really enjoys it. And we have used Summer Advantage every summer, I think, since it started, and we really love it. So keep up the good work. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Lorena. Parent feedback is always relevant and always welcome. So thank you for that.
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah. Nope, no public comments otherwise. Okay, before we go to a brief closed session, I think I saw Ashley on the call. Is there anything going on with the with marketing that we need any brief update, anything, how's the video working? Like just something brief to share?
Video's doing well, sure. Video's doing well. We exceeded our goal of 16,666 views. We actually got over 17,000 on the English and the Spanish videos. For the English streaming ads, the platform that had the most viewers was Tubi. And then for the Spanish video, the platform that had the most viewers was Roku TV. And then for next steps, we're going to be doing some lead campaigns through emails and texts. We're also looking at possibly a second round of TV ads, and then potentially also mobile geo ads. But we meet with the school administration every other week. And so we're working in tandem with them and with what Mr. Tolliver is doing on the ground in regards to marketing.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Ashley. I mean to put you on the spot, but since
It's
you were
okay.
here.
I was ready. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to closed session, any questions, anything to add from anyone else? No, okay, well, okay, I need to make a motion. I know some of you will drop off the call, so thank you very much for attending today. I'd like to make a motion to moving to closed session for the purposes of to discuss contracts, legal and personnel issues. And Melissa, if you could join us briefly, that would be appreciated.
This
I
is
have a motion to move us to a closed session.
I gotcha. This is Anissa. I'd like to move to a closed session to discuss contract, legal, and personnel issues.
I have a second.
This is Lorraine. I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And nays or abstentions, no. Christina will move to a brief closed session. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for attending today's board meeting. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for March 21st, 2024. May I have a motion to
A motion to adjourn.
second?
I
Second.
Thank you, Eric and Anissa. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
If
Aye.
abstentions, no. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. We all will be in touch with each other and all our follow-up stuff. So have a great evening.
Have a good
Thank you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.